What's up, guys? Kevin Forbasi here to talk some sports with you again. Yesterday, after a discussion about NBA, I had a viewer reach out to me and wanted my input on the Hall of Fame class announced yesterday. And first off, I want to start off congratulate the 4 players that made it: Chipper Jones, Jim Thome, Trevor Hoffman, Vladimir Guerrero. Incredible careers by all 4 guys, all well deserving of making the Hall of Fame, and truly an honor that these guys made it. And what a class we had. Jim Thome, over 600 home runs. Trevor Hoffman, second most saves all time, only to Mariano Rivera. Vlad Guerrero, one of those rare 5-tool players, could do it all: hit for power, catch, run, field. He could do it all. Chipper Jones, over 3,000 hits. Just incredible. Starting off, Chipper Jones, 3,000 hits. I think anytime somebody reaches 3,000 hits, that should be an automatic benchmark to get you in the Hall of Fame. He had over 90% of the vote, easily made it. Vlad Guerrero was arguably one of the best bad ball hitters in baseball history. He could have a pitch in the dirt and hit it as if it was right down the middle. Just incredible hitting and hand-eye coordination there. Could get power on some of those horrible pitches and hit him out of the ballpark. Truly a dangerous player. And Jim Thome, 600 home runs for his career. I believe he had the most walk-off home runs of any player in MLB history. He's one of those that kind of goes under the radar in the area of Ken Griffey and some of these other big power hitters from the last 20 years or so. But he truly was one of the best power hitters of his era and his generation. I think like 613 home runs, something like that. And then Trevor Hoffman, great career. Second most saves all time, and you can make the argument that he could have had a lot more saves if he hadn't been stuck on that San Diego team throughout the majority of his career, because oftentimes saves are dependent on the team around you, and if you don't have a good team, you're not going to have as many save opportunities, and perhaps he didn't have as many save opportunities as a Mariano Rivera, who got to play for the Yankees, who were constantly fighting for the playoffs every single year, and in there trying to win a World Series. Hoffman never really had that, never really had the supporting cast to give him that opportunity. And so one of the things I want to talk about today, and we'll get to later, is why I think Mike Trout is the modern day Vlad Guerrero. Sounds crazy, right? Everyone's like, Mike Trout is once in a generational talent, but I'll get to that later. First off, I want to get some stats to you guys, and I'm going to name 3 players and their stats, and let me know which ones you think should be in the Hall of Fame. So I'm just going to read these out. First player, career stats: 318 batting average, 2,590 hits, 1,328 runs, 449 home runs, an OBP of 379, 1,496 RBI, 181 stolen bases. Second player, a little bit lower batting average, 288, 1,750 hits, 1,244 runs, 374 home runs, a 402 on base percentage, and 1,094 RBI with 417 stolen bases. And the third player, 314 batting average, 1,185 hits, 388 home runs, a 484 on base percentage, and 902 RBI, 97 stolen bases. Now, on the surface, the first player immediately sticks out. He's got more hits, more runs, more home runs than the other guys. Has a higher average than both the other guys. But if you look at it, he has less stolen bases than the second player. The second player had 417 stolen bases. First guy had 181. So the first guy's stats are remarkable. Like, screams to me Hall of Fame immediately. But when you look at these second 2 players, pretty compelling stat line. Not nearly as many hits for the second guy, but he only had about 100 less runs than the first. The first guy had 1,328 runs. The second guy had 1,244 runs. And wow, crazy how many stolen bases the second player had. 417. Now the third player, what really sticks out for him, a 484 on base percentage. Guys, that's getting on base almost half the time. That's incredible. And in today's day of analytics, we know that getting on base is so crucial to scoring runs. And that has been elevated to a new place in today's game. And all these players played before that analytics era that has kind of dawned now in the last 10 years or so. Alright, so first player, Vlad Guerrero. One heck of a career, Hall of Famer, no doubt. Over 90% of the vote this year, I believe. Truly deserving of the honor. But what might be surprising to you guys, you know who the second player was? It was Barry Bonds before his age 32 season. Yeah, that's right. He had 374 home runs before in his age 32 season, and before he had 417 stolen bases, an average of 288, 1094 RBI, only 400 less than Guerrero had in his entire career, and that's Bonds through his age 32 season. Incredible. And the third guy, well, Barry Bonds again, after his age 33 season, batted .314, had a .484 on base percentage, 902 RBI. Look, guys, I know there's a lot of debate about putting Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, but if you break his career into halves, his 32 and before and 33 and after, which a lot of people point to that, 1997 season about when Bonds quote-unquote started using steroids. We don't know, and it's a lot of speculation. I don't like to speculate about when that happened or how much of an effect that had on him. I mean, undeniably, he did get stronger, and it may have had an effect on him later in his career, hitting-wise, being able to hit some more home runs. But the numbers don't lie. In my opinion, Barry Bonds is the single greatest hitter in baseball history. And look, I know steroids is kind of this black taint on his entire career, but remember, all throughout history, we've put players in the Hall who have cheated. People have sanded, pitchers who have sanded the baseball, people who have spit on a baseball before throwing it, George Brett, infamous pine tar, all over his bat. And honestly, I don't think you can look at the steroid era as anything other than just that, an era. It was a time in baseball where everyone throughout baseball was using steroids. As Rafael Palmeiro brought up infamously, everyone was doing it. And baseball is trying to ignore this entire section of its history, but you can't rewrite history. I mean, we don't look at Bob Gibson's incredible season, I believe, in '69 and say, oh, well, he pitched from a mound that was 6 inches taller. We recognize how great of a season he had. He had a sub-2 ERA, one of the greatest pitching performances of all time, and caused the mound to be lowered so pitchers had less of an advantage because he was that dominant. Look, I know that Barry Bonds is accused of taking steroids, and I'm not trying to say he's innocent or anything like that. But for his lifetime, he had a .444 on-base percentage. .444. Guerrero, for his career, had a .379. Bonds got on base significantly more. And Vlad Guerrero is your typical five-tool player. Everyone remembers for how he ran, stole bases, hit for power, hit for decent average. Bonds had over 300 more stolen bases throughout his career. Bonds was not just a power hitter. He got on base. He was a demon on the bases, could steal whenever he wanted to early in his career, and was dominant at it. He was one of the best at his position. Another thing to throw at you guys. Bonds' first career had 8 Gold Gloves. 8. There's this narrative that he was just a great power hitter late in his career. But he was a tremendous glove out in the outfield and saved runs for his team all the time. Another thing, Bonds. Later in his career, he won those 4 MVPs, 01 through 04. And a lot of people remember that and discount what he did as accounting it to steroids. But nobody remembers, early in his career, he won 3 MVPs. 3 before he had even reached that point in his life where we believe he used steroids. And again, speculating when he started, I think it's kind of a moot point at this. We'll never know. He's not going to come out and say, there weren't tests being done at the time, so it's mere speculation, but he had 3 MVPs by the time he was, I believe, 27. Vlad Guerrero had 1 MVP. 1. How are the baseball writers leaving Barry Bonds out? I have no idea. The numbers speak for themselves. Barry Bonds for his career had 2,558 walks. Guerrero had 737 walks. And yet we anoint Guerrero as an immediate Hall of Famer, but we aren't willing to put Barry Bonds in. He is arguably the greatest eye in baseball history. Yeah, greatest eye in baseball history. The dude had, I believe, in 1 year he had 232 walks. Today, if somebody reaches 100 walks, we consider it an amazing season. Guy had 232 walks. In his prime that season, he hit 73 home runs. Pitchers did not throw him a pitch to hit the entire game. He might have one pitch to hit, and he hit 73 home runs. I mean, look, account it to steroids all you want, but when you're only seeing one pitch to hit a game, you have to be a great hitter to take advantage of that. And Bonds did. Through the later half of his career, pitchers didn't want to pitch to him, and he still dominated them. He didn't have a great lineup around him. I mean, you can point to Jeff Kent and some of the other guys back then, but it's not like he had a great protection. He didn't have an Aaron Judge behind his Giancarlo Stanton nowadays. He was largely doing it on his own. He would intentionally walk more than any hitter, I believe, in history. And he was one of the first players to be intentionally walked. And one of the famous things about Bonds is he would be intentionally walked with the bases loaded. Pitchers would sacrifice a run because he was that feared of a hitter. They were worried he was going to hit a home run, hit a double, bring home 3 runs. They would rather just give up the 1 run. It's crazy to me. And baseball, right now, arguably the greatest pitcher and arguably the greatest hitter of all time are not in the Hall of Fame. I feel like it's an extreme travesty. What a dark mark for baseball. I get that the baseball writers of America are trying to take this high road right now, but at the same time, you can't leave out an entire era. I mean, many will point to Ken Griffey Jr. as the consummate pro and the guy that you should have looked to who did it the right way at the same time of Bonds. They came in 2 years apart. Griffey in '89, Barry Bonds in '87. Griffey hit over 600 home runs, one of the most feared hitters of all time. Had bunch of Gold Glove awards, just like Bonds. Multiple-time MVP winner, just like Bonds. And Griffey didn't use steroids. I get that. I know that, you know, I don't agree with Bonds' decision to use steroids if he did indeed use them. But you can't overlook what he's done for his career. One of the most dominant players ever. And while he never won a World Series, he left his mark on baseball. I mean, today, this last season, most home runs we've ever seen in baseball history. And we point to the steroid era as when home runs were at their peak. But we had more home runs last year when baseball is supposedly cleaner than ever. I'm not saying it's not, but I think the steroid era itself is overblown because at the same time that these hitters are using steroids, so were the pitchers. And maybe that doesn't even out the playing field as much. I don't know how that really affects it. But Barry Bonds really revolutionized baseball. He made the home run the apex of baseball, and he did it the right way. Not the steroid part, but he took walks. He got on base like he was supposed to. And guys, in one season, he had a .609 on-base percentage. He got on base over 60% of the time. Some players don't even reach 300 on-base percentage. It's crazy. He wasn't just a power hitter. He could steal bases. He was a good fielder. Scored runs for his team. He really did it all. And baseball writers of America, you've got to put him on the Hall of Fame. He should have been in a long time ago. And at this point, it's just ridiculous. I get you're trying to maybe they're trying to send a message to him, but don't take the high road, because I don't think you're taking the high road at all. Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I feel like an argument can be made for Roger Clemens as well. You know, most Cy Youngs in MLB history, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. It's a travesty to me that neither of them are in the Hall of Fame. Anyways, that's my thoughts, guys. I hope you appreciate it. Again, congrats to the 2018 inductees, Trevor Jones, Vlad Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. Great careers, but we need to see Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame in 2019, and Roger Clemens as well. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll try and post a video next week talking about the Super Bowl and my thoughts on that and why I don't think it's going to be as big of a blowout as you guys might think with the Patriots. Thank you guys.